Hello and welcome. It is 4:34 a.m. CET on Sunday, January the 12th, 2025. Hello and welcome. Let's breathe. Let's deeply breathe coming into the center, into our internal, eternal place of stillness. Just breathing into our own core, appreciating mm, the fact that we are multidimensional beings and we are residing on Earth right now. And I have come to share with you today my energy as I felt a reconnection yesterday during a inner guided journey to the galactic center and supergalactic center to the sun and to some other planets or stars. Some that may have names, some that may not have names, or whatever has come to into the consciousness. And I will link. He was doing this guided journey below. I just want to focus as I'm being intuitively made aware of, of to the sensation, a very cathartic, very inner connection. And I would wish if I could exchange with others on a personal basis, but this has not happened in the 2 years that I've been sharing these audios with you. In fact, it is more like 2022, 2023, 2024, 3 years. So this inner knowing or this reflection is not the right word, mirroring is not the right word. It is simply a sharing of an awareness. So the supergalactic center was super busy compared to last month. It was shown to me in a very rich, comfy, indigo dark blue. And then there were lots of beings that appeared in white light forms, in various sizes of yeah, illuminated humanoid type beings, and it felt that a supergalactic center was like a huge portal into this our world here connected to Earth. And so there was a gathering which felt like a conference type peace gathering, but it was very protective energy. And yeah, it probably was before the start of a meeting. And it was very lively because the various groups, the various families is not the name, but the connections, they're all obviously knew of each other and exchanged their awareness of the events here on Earth as well as the cosmos. I couldn't listen to words that I can't even say to you if all of them were just using a form of what I would call direct telepathy. So something that is silent to the outer ear, but in the inner ear, you hear it. So I don't want to lose myself in the explanation. The positive feeling that absolutely we are not alone in our deep inner desire for true peace and true exchange and true understanding. And even though we may have been aware of this from our childhood or from having experiences in nature or following certain contemplation practices. I'm sharing a very personal awareness of this. However, as it did occur, and yesterday was the 11th of January, so 11/1, and there was a small group of 5 of us from the Northern Hemisphere. if it is possible for me to share it here, this means it is possible for everyone else to have this connection. So I know that many people have been channeling different beings, have been writing many books about other star systems, have developed evolutionary or galactic astrology. And there's there are certainly hundreds of authors over the last 100+ years or so that were able to commune with other beings or other states of their own consciousness. And personally, I also had various recognitions over the years, over the decades. But something was different. Um, it feels that a true awareness, a true connection, a true embodiment was initiated, and um, I'm surrendering to having to understand it all. I simply wanted to make this sharing today so I may be able to capture what I'm feeling in my inner chest, the energy that is still with me and has been building up, I think, since the winter solstice or the days before the winter solstice. And yeah, before I go into something else, let me carry on sharing what else. So the most profound was this. I'm getting the word inaugural meeting that is happening right now. And so just to say, we have these connections. We are not alone. And Earth will not sink into some old timeline, let's call it that way. Then the other important part to me was that from from the sun and then the galactic center I was taken to a planet or a star And this was after making connection with the dog star Canis Minor, where the symbolism was a beautiful, friendly, happy dog that was so pleased to see me, like when you're coming home and this young, playful dog is so happy, sharing his joy. And so that was beautiful, this unconditional love from all the animals and also the consciousness that the animals just know. And what I wanted to share though was that then I went on to another star world where there was just beautiful landscapes of natures, and it was like pristine nature of all kind, from mountainous type tree lines to rolling valleys to lush countryside. Just everything was at its best in a, it wasn't so much flowers I was seeing, I was more seeing greens, trees, forests, meadows too in a way, but it was just so many shades. Yeah, I wasn't even aware it was greens. It was just every color. Very, yeah, very um, similar to it was how it has been here from the yellow to the dark green spectrum with all the shades of green and obviously this light blue sky, and it was a summery feeling or yeah, maybe like May kind of feeling. But the point is that there is a, I don't like to use the word blueprint, but there is a world, a natural world, absolutely healed. And the sensation or the information or the confirmation or the what the sharing with me was that this totally healed, perfected, beautiful, natural world like planet Earth was there, and the message was that nature is healing on this planet as well as on many others. So how can I do not know how that vision or how or where this planet is or but it's a real world, a real planet. But somehow it is connected to our Earth, and nature on Earth is having connection with that vibration. And I'm sharing it here simply to confirm to you if you have been getting these messages working in your garden or walking in nature, never mind if you are in Northern Hemisphere like I am, and there is ground frost and it's cold. But we did have sun yesterday, which was very helpful, and it feels that my work in my garden, I'm shifting some heavy, old, fallen tree trunks and creating an area where I collect all this. And there's a saving symbol connected to the 24th degree, I believe. I can't remember now. Now I'm getting into my other brain. I just want to say that it is a human being cutting large palm trees. So the symbolism is surrendering and letting go of the old that is no longer required. Yes, it may be like humus for the earth. So, but the plant itself no longer require these dried out trees or the leaves that are falling. So it all points to me towards this new growth, this new energy, how everything will heal. All of nature, all of the animals know, certainly the wild animals, but also my four-leggeds here know. They're always known. It's just that this connection was shared with my body yesterday, and it is so soothing to my heart with all that talk really throughout my adult life, starting in the 70s, or maybe probably before that in the 60s, about how devastating modern technology and things that apparently happen on this planet regarding conflicts and trying out all those, and plus all these accidents which have to do with transporting large amounts of energy resources through the world and so on, and the whole discussion about, driving a car, and now to this theory about the CO2 and all those, the whole thing about apparently that we as humans, causing pollution when actually 98% of us don't even have the resources to do so, and just use as little as possible energies just to manage our lives because, it is expensive to fill up your car tank or have heating and um, the basics in life, water and so on. So really this bad consciousness on wasting resources and creating pollution is all sort of tied in with this negative notion that we live in some sort of sin and all these morals. It doesn't matter which belief system you're grown up to. In the end, it all has to do with trying to restrict your dreams, wishes, and desires because we're meant to be in the head trying to survive and focusing on success and career and working hard to feed the family type of thing, having a home and on this enjoyment thing that supposedly only happens when you can sit somewhere and drink alcohol and reinforce through many films that are like fairy tales for adults, which is nothing wrong with that. As long as we can still live a real life away from virtual. Well, I like movies. Movies are like stories, but it is still not the real thing. The real thing is having experiences, having inner visions. And I wanted to share this with you, and I'm sorry I've gone philosophical. Mars is in Cancer and moved into my ninth house, so which feels good to me. Rather than it being in Leo and being very focused on some 3D achievement that is not coming in the old way because the old system is going. So this is really my sharing with you, simply describing to you what this being experienced. And obviously it was in a small group setting. It can be different when you have others holding space, and even though we are in different locations, we have agreed to show up and do this journey together. And so the many gifts of this inner good guided journey, and yes, it created happiness that I can still feel, and I was writing a post in another community forum yesterday about how I made joy my 2025 focus to really feel it rather than having to prep talk myself into it. And it's such a relief to have had those connections after such a long, energetic desert of a minimum of 5 years, if not more, that personally I had to master, but I'm sure we all have our own mastery in whichever situation we found ourselves in. And it may even, like in my case, lasted as long as the last Pluto cycle in Capricorn. And there's a lot happening in Pisces with the node. Yeah, that's the other thing. The nodes, the south and north node, and please do your own research. There's lots of information at this moment available from others that are studying this in much more depth. But the nodes shifting from the Libra Aries axis that was active the last 18 months, which also was under the influence of Pluto still being in Capricorn, and now they're shifting into the Virgo Pisces axis, and there is a big emphasis on Pisces, with Neptune being in the last degree, with Venus just having moved in it, with Saturn being in there. And you may be having your own connections there, but through the Mars being in Cancer and this full moon, and in a full moon the Sun and the Moon being opposite, and there are different axes created, plus your own mandala or blueprint. And Pisces is opposite Virgo, and there are quite a lot of people born, end of 50s throughout till the end of 60s, with having Pluto, and in some cases Pluto and Uranus in Virgo, a whole generation. And the Pisces connection is opposite, and Virgo being this perfectionist, service-oriented, detail, hardworking, practical, giving a lot to others and being very much in your brain, analytical, strategic, practical, to having all these Piscean. So trying to fix issues or do things, the Virgo style is opposing the trusting in A. larger picture and a larger guidance, a more multidimensional connection in a very more physical, emotional water body like our body, but also something that is physically felt. So these planets meeting up in Pisces and the North Node being. So it entered just like overnight today. And I guess I was feeling that yesterday already, and it feels more profound even than the full moon. But then I'm speaking very personal because usually it's the days or the whole week before the full moon that the energies are very concentrated and yeah, causing tension as the physical body also expands. And the sleep is disrupted and the whole circadian rhythm, the whole thing about thirst and hunger and all that is all kind of yo-yoing from one to nothing to kind of wanting, needing lots. But that's been going on for so much with all these ascension symptoms. Still, it's difficult to to get used to it. So personally, I'm welcoming in the softness of the Piscean energy, and I'm very, very, very aware. What a blessing! I have no words really. How supportive these personally felt inner communications were, and I wanted to share this with you, and at the same time also saying that our animals will be alright, our nature will be alright, and our intergalactic multidimensional beings will be alright, and Earth will not blow up. Excuse me. It feels a very vibrant, peaceful, creative, natural, solutions, easy solutions, not complicated. And I'm not against technology, but we need to keep it to a minimum in the sense of honoring that we humans are the most complex, most intelligent, most emotionally aware technology logos, right? So our body, our hands can do so much, and it doesn't need such a complicated resource squandering. Yeah, creating a deep form of dependence on heavy machinery, and each person can choose for themselves. Each situation is different, but there's a lot one can do with just simple log approved tools. and our own creativity. And this is such a positive feeling. I am totally thankful for feeling this because I hope you too have creative outlets, have moments of deep love you can share with other beings, conversation, hugs, acts of kindness, being there for others. And I'm saying this fully aware that there are many, many areas on this planet going through deep conflict with devastation, with extreme weathers, with strange manifestations of fire and water, and from drought to flooding, and where people losing everything and maybe just having themselves and having each other to support them getting through. And the feeling I am getting is that this community spirit, the spark of being human, being vulnerable but being strong, of going through hardship, losing acquaintances, loved ones, neighbors, friends, family, partners maybe, children maybe, parents maybe. But finding an inner sense of support and peace, not understanding maybe anything, but changing the atmosphere and the attitude towards life, and trusting while this is happening to many, creating a new way of life, a new way of being, a new way of setting up communities, more focus on spending resources, on ensuring local support in times of need for it, but also all of us realizing, you know, how much we can do as an individual. So I just wanted to take a minute or so honoring, acknowledging that many walking through the storm right now, or finding themselves after the storm in a different landscape. So at the same time, I can see the help pouring in. So I hope somebody will be setting up crowdfunding pages for the areas, people near there, even if they're 1,000 kilometers far away, coming in, bringing groceries, tools, and also a lot of moral support and a lot of caring of the human beings that had to witness this and live through this. And the system is changing and has to change. And the one thing that is coming to mind is that we, the people, need to be in charge of our taxes. And we, the people, have the right to know exactly what is spent where in our local community. If we pay all this money, which is in some cases half of the price, or whatever we do, we pay these 10, 20, 30. Yeah, in some cases it's so much, and we don't know where it goes. It gets wasted by an admin mechanism out there that is not shared with us, and with so-called leaders that don't lead but try to imprint society with their personal versions of ego-centered, old world, patriarchal extremism of trying to rule the world from a centralized empire. Yeah, it feels all very, very old. The future is decentralization, and the future is flat hierarchies, and the future is that the communities will be creating funds for the most vulnerable and enabling all those supporting their dreams as and living in harmony. And instead of fixing things without actually eliminating the causes, such a waste of resources. So we need to create an approach, and you, each of you. So where does your food come from? What happens to your rubbish? And where can you choose to support those cooperatives, organizations, and companies that have a real holistic approach? And how many pairs of shoes, how many cars, how many holidays, how much food and drink do you really need? And where is your happiness coming from? It doesn't mean having to give away everything you own, but it means consciously deciding where to focus your creativity and where you spend your resources, and trusting that this life energy that runs through us and allows us to breathe and to speak, and seeing creativity all around us, because everything that we do and everything that we use is a form of creativity. But how can we do things more consciously? No, it is not a solution to stop using resources. It is just how we use it. There shouldn't be any rubbish as such. In nature, the fallen leaves are the minerals of the new growth. Yes, we can put them to one side if we need to be, as it is maybe too wet or something. But nature does not produce wastage. It is a cycle. So I would like to just, there's one more thing to share with you, and I don't know what it is, so let's just breathe for a moment. Deeply into the core. So yes, we need fuel. That's not really the right word. We need sustenance, we need nurturing. That is what is meant with this, but also having shared this energy with you, I can feel my body needs food. There is a lot of movement energetically, and I can feel the blood sugar drop. And it is Sunday, and so we will be having an early breakfast as I will be preparing that for the four-leggeds and myself simply because it feels right and because what is the special thing about Sunday? Yeah, it feels like one can go at a slower pace and rest, and I trust we will be building this back into our lives, that these cultural or personal, yeah, preparing a meal and eating a meal, however small it is, even preparing your drink, your hot drink, your coffee, your hot water, your tea, whatever it is that you enjoy, is a celebration. Doesn't matter if you share your breakfast with your cat or just with yourself and the sunshine or the dawn. Let's call it the dawn. You may not always see the sun as we are still here in winter season. And I'm needing to take a break shortly as I hear my voice is, yeah, there has been a lot of clearing in the sinuses and the general connection to the voice box and the breathing apparatus. Well, that's partly what was shared about the Virgo Pisces axis. Virgo is about purging and clean diet, and yet let your body guide you what it needs. And um, build the rest of life around what your being needs. And if you have responsibility for other beings, that's only a certain period in life. And maybe enjoy this winter with the possibility to rest and acknowledging that the body has its own natural movements that are part of the architecture of a multidimensional being that is living on Earth, and this is our life for this moment. And so slowing down gives more awareness. So the areas where we can slow down, we can set boundaries and we can share the values. We don't need to speak about it to others. We can simply just do it. Yeah, and I am very aware that there is a greater whole, which we are co-creating surely, but which is seeing more, feeling more than our own blueprint. So our own lens, our own awareness. We are empathic beings, so we can understand how others feel and we can relate to that. And we can choose though with whom we interact and how we interact. And those so-called organizations out there need to understand that without us, without our heart, yeah, it's hard work because it is demanding action or inaction, but it is still, even if we're resting, we still need a place to rest. We still need food, shelter, some clothes. And more so, I guess we need friendship, and it needs to be true friendship. While the old system is going, there is no power over, and there's no parasitic way, and there's no lies. There may be misunderstandings that can be communicated, and instead of judging, we need to understand why somebody feels themselves pushed to act out. And yeah, certainly the world is overwhelming, but please remember, even the smallest place, and even if it is just with inside of you, you can create your connection to your multidimensionality and to your absolute birthright, connection to all that is within you. I am wishing you a lovely Sunday, and if you're listening to this any other time, I'm just wishing you a very conscious, nurturing, peaceful, easy flowing, unraveling of knots and solution oriented, but in the sense of going with the flow. I'm wishing you a restful, joyful, nurturing, moment after moment in the now. I am thanking you for sharing with me. Healing can be instantaneous, so trusting in that and also wishing to share a lot of happiness with you through meaningful, really feeling that loving, kind, healing vibration of joy in your inner core. All of you walking through hard times right now, however intense the circumstances, we can still approach it from a nurturing source of joy. And so it is trusting fully that peace will spread now, and we are creating a more conscious way of living in harmony with all those around us. And if we find ourselves in a place of abundance, then we can share that. In many cases, anonymously with others. There's always a way of simply gifting homegrown foods with, as we do with families, so with others. So all these gifts we receive from nature, from being on this planet, we can express being a gift to our loved ones, our inner circle, our community, however small it may be. Thank you for spending time with me. Thank you for listening to the sharing. And thank you for being you and doing your bit, your best, being yourself where you are and simply enjoying the energies coming into our lives, supporting us in living a more fulfilled, with a with a way of ease. Much love, peace, and nurturing to all our lives here on earth, and that everyone will have more than just the basics, and that we will find people to share. Never mind if they see us those other realms are aware of who we are. Thank you. So it is. Thank you.